saying she was stuck. Ooh, you know that like gets my goat. Like, she just, I mean, of course, I was like, what do you mean get stuck? And she just kept saying, I'm stuck in life, I'm stuck, I'm stuck, I'm stuck. I mean, how many times can you say you're stuck? Listen, people, here's the truth about stuckiness. You're not ever stuck. Let me read this. What does Bruce Lee say? This is Bruce Lee. If you always put limits on everything you do, physical or anything else, it will spread into your work and into your life. There are no limits. There are only plateaus. And you must not stay there. You must go beyond them. So here's the thing. This girl kept, and it's a great lesson because I realized where I got stuck today. I was lecturing at the Actors Center and this whole epiphany I had about stuckiness. So I just want to say this interesting thing about being stuck. We have to try to change the paradigm about how we hold things. She's not literally, figuratively, physically, emotionally, physiologically, spiritually stuck. Where she's stuck is her narrative about where she's stuck. Her story is what keeps her stuck. Last time I checked, she had 2 feet to just at least physically get unstuck. You get what I'm saying? But we don't want to get unstuck because we're invested in the way we tell stories about ourselves about how things aren't possible. I get it. I understand it. We have, myself included, we have neurological wiring based on condition stories we've been telling ourselves out of habits for years. You're invested in them. You don't want to give them up. They have served a purpose for you, meaning as a defense mechanism, they've gotten you through life. But as a real protected thing, you need it. Or many of us might not even literally be here. But then what happens is you outgrow them, but your own awareness is still connected to them, and you can't let them go. Why? Because the identification is in that thing that you know. Safety, comfort, familiar. The work, especially at this studio, but the work in life in general, what Bruce Lee, everybody is talking about, not just actors, is you have to lean into the discomfort. All growth is in the discomfort zone. Everything you want is outside of your comfort zone. Now that is really not comfortable because our bodies physiologically seek homeostasis. So it's counterintuitive. You're constantly, you go and you reach for your, I don't know what's an English cookie, a Marmar bar? No, that's Australia. What is that? That's Australia, isn't it? Well, you go home and you have your tea and your cookies or your pot and your alcohol or your porn or your Facebook or your Instagram or whatever it is. That seeks some sort of stasis. Also, from like what scientists are talking about now, our own addiction to our phones, it has, what do you call it? The endorphin part gets kicked in. That's all, I mean, that's brain trigger, but that is also sort of something we start to need. What you seek is not in your comfort zone. So I think the interesting thing about thinking about in terms that we're stuck, you're not. You're just not seeing your life in terms of potential. As long as I hold on to a narrative, I can't see possibility. A narrative excludes possibility. So every time you tell yourself about something that you've been telling yourself for so long, can't be this way, I can't get an agent, I can't break through, I don't have any credits, I didn't go to trauma school, I don't, I have to move to LA, that's a story. That story precludes you having an experience that lives outside of it. Now that's scary, because you have to say goodbye to the story, because first of all, it's not true. But it keeps you stuck to, it feels good. Even though weirdly enough, it doesn't feel good, because you want to break out of it. See what I'm saying? Your body knows. Do you not know when it doesn't feel good to feel good? I mean, to feel bad, does it? So when you're telling yourself things that don't make you feel good, you know there's a part of you that knows, well, that's not the truth, but it feels like the truth because you've been saying it for so long. So I just think it's important to think about, we don't get stuck. We arrive at certain junctures. Those are this woman can't quite see yet that where she defines herself as stuck is the springboard she needs to step into something else. I get it. It can be comfortable where you're at. You got to keep leaping. My epiphany that I had, and then we'll be done and we'll work, is when I was walking here, a lot of you know that, I've been shooting a lot of other stuff in the interim because I have this big movie. It's not like big by Hollywood standards, but it's a modest budget movie that I've been trying to get made for a long time, and we've got a lot of interesting talent, some famous people interested in some attachments, and it's been a really crazy, intense, stressful journey this year, and it was coming together, and we were supposed to be filming in the fall, and now it's falling apart, now we're restructuring, but what I thought was really interesting, I have a number, I'm going to Bulgaria in a couple days, and I have some meetings, and when I go back to LA, I have some meetings, and I have found that recently, when I've been having some meetings, I have been approaching it from this place of a story that has kept me from preempting possibility. We all do that. You go out on a date and you expect the date to be a douchebag because every other guy or girl has been a douchebag. So what do you get? So yeah, see what I'm saying? I understand it because at some level to hope, to lean into, well, maybe this might be different is really scary. It's really scary to have hope again. And I was saying a lot of probably pessimists or nihilists probably believe that hope is a foolhardy enterprise. But I think it's really important. So look, so the amazing thing about intensives or how I teach or how we work is like, I never see somebody's struggle as not also my struggle. Because her talking about being stuck made me realize, well, that's how I'm stuck. I just don't want to, I didn't even see it that way. And it also takes awareness to unstuck yourself. I want to end with this last piece because I think it's important. Ooh, this is so good because we walk around in life thinking this. You guys, the universe does not like someone else more than he, she, it, divinity, source, fountainhead, whatever you want to call it, God, more than he, she, it, God, divinity, likes you. I'll say it again. You are not less loved than anybody else on the planet. So your desire for something can happen. Do you get what I'm saying? You walk around thinking, when I showed up at school that day, when God handed out all the talent, or the beauty, or the looks, or the possibilities, or the connections, or the whatever, you weren't there. It's not true. The universe is a great social equalizing force. We're all at the same level, literally. You're not liked or disliked any more than anybody else. So what we have to just keep gently reminding ourselves is, I have outgrown that paradigm. I am no longer telling that story. I get that I'm invested in that story. I need a friend to help me see that that story doesn't serve me. How do I step out of it and see myself standing in the light? That is really the truth of who I am. This narrative is so old and tired. I mean, that's really the truth. Those narratives are so boring. They're so boring. I'm like so boring to my friends when I'm like, it's so boring. I'm just thinking that right now. How do my friends keep up with me? It's so annoying. So kids, you're not stuck. Create a new narrative. Forgive your past. Forgive yourself in your past. Create a new story. Let me do this. Let me borrow this, Maria. Look, it's as simple as this. I'm just turning the page. Look, blank page. Write a new story. Okay. So, I think that's all I have to say. I'm appreciative of the student who is stuck. Of course, she's not here to hear that lesson. God damn it! See, it's always like that, but hopefully she'll be periscoping and watching it on Periscope.
He has a house in